Welcome to Planeta Isla. Today we're going to go over the Ancient Civilization Part 6, Ancient Greece. Make sure to watch until the end because of the Greeks' contribution to the modern world. Ancient Greece was one of the most outstanding civilizations of Greek history from the Greek Dark Ages of the 12th to 9th centuries BC to the end of Age of Antiquity, which is circa AD 600. It is one of the most brilliant civilizations in world history. The ancient Greeks laid many of the foundations for the whole of the Western civilization. It produced very new and different innovations in a wide range of fields like philosophy, science, art, architecture, government, and politics, and many more. The conquest of Alexander the Great of Macedonia spread Hellenistic civilization from the Western Mediterranean to Central Asia. The Hellenistic period ended with the conquest of the Eastern Mediterranean world by the Roman Republic and the annexation of the Roman province of Macedonia in Roman Greece, and later the province of Achaia during the Roman Empire. Classical Greek culture, especially philosophy, had a powerful influence on ancient Rome and around Europe. Because of this, Classical Greece is generally considered the cradle of Western civilization. To name a few, the ideas of politics, science, and art, poetry, and technology. This is also known as the age when the city-state was invented. Before this period, people were scattered in small farming villages. As they grew bigger, they built marketplace or agora and community meeting place. They also developed governments, created constitution and bylaws, raised armies, and collected taxes. And every city-state was known to be protected by god or goddesses. Example, Athena for Athens, Ares and Artemis for Sparta, Apollo for Delphi, Delos, Zeus for Elis and Olympia, Eros for Thespiae, Poseidon for Corinth, Apollo and Dionysius for Thebes, Hera for Argos and Samos, Helios for Rhodes, Artemis for Ephesus, Aphrodite for Cnidus. As they grew bigger and bigger, they overthrew their kings and were ruled by wealthy aristocrats. Land was the source of their wealth, and the area became smaller and smaller. As the population exploded, many citizens migrated to sparsely populated areas. Each state was independent from one another, so the people who lived there were not ruled by or bound to the city-states from which they came from. The new polis or city-states were self-governing and self-sufficient. As time passed and their populations grew, many of these agricultural city-states began to produce consumer goods such as pottery, cloth, wine, and metalwork. Trade in these goods made some people, usually not members of the old aristocracy, very wealthy. These people resented the unchecked power of the oligarchs and banded together, sometimes with the aid of heavily armed soldiers called Hoplites, to put new leaders in charge. The classical period brought with it a series of political reforms that created the system of ancient Greek democracy, known as Demokratia or rule by the people. Homer from Ionia produced his Iliad and Odyssey during the Archaic or Ancient period. Scientists and mathematicians made progress too. Anaximandros devised a theory of gravity. Xenophanes wrote about his discovery of fossils, and Pythagoras of Croton discovered his famous Pythagorean theorem. Greek architecture is known for its grace and simplicity. The finest buildings the Greeks erected were their temples, and the most famous of these is the Parthenon in Athens. Greek sculpture, usually in stone and bronze or sometimes in gold and ivory, was solid and formal. During the classical period, sculptures geared more towards realism, and their work became more graceful and elegant. They applied mathematical ratios to achieve aesthetic beauty. Later on, their skills improved more till they showed movement and emotions. In their best works, they achieve a fluidity in stone which has seldom been matched. There were no traces of sculptures with vibrant colors. What remained are the paintings on vases. The art and architecture of ancient Greece have had a gigantic impact on later cultures, from ancient times to the present day, especially with the sculpture and architecture. It is a known fact that Roman art was a continuation of Greek art. There were three Greek architectural orders which originated in Greece: Doric, which originated in Western Greece and the earliest and simplest; the Ionic, which originated from Eastern Greece and more elaborate than Doric; and the Corinthian, which is the most elaborate of all. Alexander the Great's conquest led to the rise of the fusion of Hellenistic civilization in which Greek and ancient styles coexisted. In the West, following the Italian Renaissance after circa 1400, the technical brilliance of Greek art and architecture stimulated artists to look to these ancient models for inspiration. From that time until the 19th century, the classical tradition derived from Greece and Rome was a dominant strand in Western civilization. Ancient Greek mathematics contributed many important developments, including the basic rules of geometry, the idea of formal mathematical proof, and discoveries in number theory and applied mathematics. It is now recognized that Greek mathematics owed a great deal to Mesopotamia. However, the Greeks made many advances of their own. The discoveries of Greek mathematicians are foundational to modern mathematics. The Greeks came up with a huge range of rationally argued propositions about nature and the universe, which, even when dramatically wrong, provided hypotheses which modern Western thinkers have been able to test, often demolish, and in some cases corroborate. City-states established public schools. Boys were taught how to read, write, quote literature, sing, and play one musical instrument, and were trained as athletes for military service. Girls were also taught to read, write, and do simple mathematics so they can manage the household, but they almost never receive education after childhood. Only wealthy families could afford a teacher. Plato and Socrates were the well-known philosophers or teachers of ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, Education is an important component of one's identity. Hippocrates, a Greek physician, is known as the father of medicine because of his contributions to medicine, such as the use of prognosis, clinical observation, systematic categorization of diseases, and many more. Music was used in every occasion in Greek society, like wedding, funerals, to religious ceremonies, theater, folk music, and the ballad-like reciting of epic poetry. Greek art illustrates musical instruments and dance. The word music derives from the name of the Muses, the daughters of Zeus, who were patron goddesses of the arts. The civilization of ancient Greece was very influential on language, politics, educational systems, philosophy, science, and arts. Through the Roman Empire, Greek culture came to be essential to Western culture in general. The Byzantine Empire inherited classical Greek Hellenistic culture directly. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. If you're already subscribed to this channel, leave your thoughts down below and I'll personally respond to your comment.